Welcome to season 6 of the Breakthrough Show, Breakthroughs Around the World, conversations with 40 guests from 40 different countries, acknowledging our similarities, honoring our differences, and celebrating our connection. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I am so excited to be here with you for another episode today. For season 6, episode 11, listen, it was easy for me to say yes to our guest today because even her hair is on brand with the Breakthrough Show Network. So I couldn't say no. She's a powerhouse woman. She is an inclusive workplace wellness advocate, motivating people to think consciously and inspiring them to take action. Representing the country of Netherlands, please welcome Vivian Acquah to the show. Welcome, Vivian.
What an introduction! I mean, I'm you can't see, but I have pink cheeks right now.
I love it. Well, listen, I mentioned your hair because it is fabulous. It's fabulous, and I'm so I need to start being a little more brave with my hair over here, and you might inspire me to do that.
Well, you can always buy a few hair braids, right? Just plug it in there so that you can be vibrant like myself.
Yes, I love it. And I have to ask you too. So is Vivian Acquah, is that your given name or is that a creative?
It's my stage name. No, it's my real name. It's definitely it's my real name.
It's perfect though. Like it screams she's going to be a star.
It screams Vivian is putting out fire with her aqua. Especially to the topic that I work on. I'm putting out a lot of fires with what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Well, I'm excited to dig in with you today. And as our tradition goes for season 6 of this show, I would love for you to start out by sharing what you love about your country of Netherlands.
Yeah, so what I love is that we are famous for our cheese. What I love is our flowers. We are also famous about our tulips. We have this special cookie. It's called stroopwafel, and it has that sweet caramel gooey stuff on the inside, and it's the best thing is having a fresh stroopwafel. So when you are in the Netherlands, make sure that you eat a stroopwafel and make sure that you bring stroopwafels for your whole family so that they feel excited about what to get in the Netherlands.
Now listen, my Project Joy Live audience, if you're watching right now, I apologize that I did not put our typical Project Joy disclaimer on the screen when you're hearing about this food. I should have warned you to bring a snack. My apologies.
Exactly. I always tell the people that I train or the people that I talk to, you better be aware that I will bring food on the table, literally food on the table in every word that I'm using. So I'm not apologizing. This is the disclaimer. So I'm glad that you are bringing the disclaimer up.
We have to do that. And it's so funny how every food has been such a hot button topic on this season of the show because every culture seems to really embrace the food of where they come from. And so like, what does it look like for you guys? Do you do like how we do here where every occasion is an occasion for food?
I think the occasion that we have in the winter is that we eat our special dish is like a mashed potato dish where we combine it with carrots or combine it with kale and eat it with a sausage. Yeah, I know it's very boring, but it's that thing where in the winter when it's very cold, that is the power food that I love to eat. Of course, I will spice it up because the way it's being eaten, it's too bland for me, so I have to add some spices to make it more Vivian-esque, and I really love it. Yeah,
it's the comfort food. It sounds very warm and inviting. Definitely. And does it get really cold there? Like, what are your winters like?
Well, we used to have extreme winters. I don't know how to translate it to degrees, but let's say -10 Celsius. And now that the earth is warming up, right? We
Yeah.
now have spring earlier. We now have summers longer at the moment right now. So I'm a bit worried about where this is going. We are known for um, our ice skating season,
Mhm.
where we travel to, well, not we, the Dutch people, the majority of the Dutch people who like ice skating. I'm not
Yeah.
one of them, who like to travel to 11 cities just through ice.
Hmm. Yeah. I think it's worrying for all of us, kind of what's
Hmm.
going on around the world, and the temperatures being straight. And you know what's really interesting? So I have been doing the weather on on Project Joy in the mornings, and I live in Alabama, but I grew up in Connecticut, and I'm always
Hmm.
there's so many days where we have the same temperature. That's really strange because we're like a 24-hour drive from
Hmm.
there.
Yeah,
So it's weird, and this is something we need to pay attention to, people.
definitely.
So I know you also mentioned about coffee shops. Tell me about these coffee shops in
You
Netherlands.
remember our conversation. When I talk to you, I know that a lot of people are saying that the Dutch or the Netherlands is so progressive. So we have our red light district, we have our cheese, we have our tulips, but also we are also known for being able to buy not coffee but weed
Mm,
everywhere, where we have legalized it. Not the plants though, but we have legalized selling, the dry weed. And
mm,
a lot of Americans, when they come here, or people from abroad when they come here, especially when it's not legal in their country or their state, the first thing they do besides getting a stroke valve is get high.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
heard that. I've heard that. My husband's Canadian, and
Hmm.
he might love a trip to the
Yeah. It's
Netherlands.
not my expertise though, but I can imagine that a lot of people want to just try this.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because I think they just decriminalized it at the
Mm,
federal level here actually this
yeah.
week that we're recording. And so it's interesting to see kind of just all the different countries getting getting on board with the Netherlands.
True, true. But I wonder though, all those people that have been penalized for
Mm,
just smoking weed, what will happen to them? Will their sentences be
yeah.
disappearing or being shortened? Because that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question to ask too. And I know it's something that I saw that was a concern that was raised by some people of going, okay, we've passed this law, but there's not
Hmm.
a real clear indication of how we should move forward now.
Yeah,
Like, so it's one
yeah,
thing to pass a law, it's another to be like, okay, now we have a plan.
yeah,
What's the plan?
yeah.
No one knows. So we're going to find out. I guess we will in the coming times. Well, I'm excited to dig into a little bit of your story today, Vivian, and I can't wait for others to hear it as well. Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Mhm.
I know that part of your journey has been, and what we talked about initially when we met was your journey in becoming a mom. And that's something
Mm.
that I really connected with as well, because I have 895 children, no, only six, but it feels like 895. But that moment was a very formative time in my life as well. And I know it paved the way for a lot of the work that you do
Mhm.
in your business as well. But tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did your life start to change when you became pregnant?
Um, when I found out that I became pregnant or that I got pregnant, that was a joyous moment.
Mm,
Until with 5 weeks of pregnancy, I shared that with my then managers. I was working at a very small IT company, five managers, all male, and I decided to disclose that because I was dealing with morning sickness. And knowing what I know now, I would not have shared that, because the moment that I shared that I was pregnant, that was the moment that the maternal wall bias came up, and that was also the moment that I was being bullied. And it got to a place that when I was about 6 months pregnant, my midwife warned me, like, you already have hypertension or high blood pressure. Did you know that the stressful situation that you are in right now can not only harm you, but also can harm your unborn child? And to me, that was a real shake. It's like God, slapping me in the face and realizing that I need to do something. So I went on an early maternity leave, and luckily nothing happened to my son. He's live and kicking, and
mm.
also has reached the age where you are now being confronted with your own words,
Yeah.
basically your own mirror. But looking back, it really brought work in a different perspective. It showed me how I saw my work more important than my own life. And with my son in my arms, I realized, no, I want to be able to show you what it means to have a workplace that supports you, that sees you, that values you. So I left, and that's how I started my journey as an inclusive workplace wellness advocate.
That's amazing. I love how you used, what you went through in your personal life to
Hmm.
kind of form how you were going to move forward. What do you see as, so let me backtrack a little bit. What do
Hmm.
you see as in a perfect world, what does an inclusive workplace look like?
Ideally, is that people are able to show up the way they feel, the way they are. When you look back 20 years ago, it was a no-no to have a visible tattoo. It
Mm,
was a no-no to have even a piercing, somewhere in your face. And it was even a no-no to wear the hair that I'm wearing right now.
right.
Imagine that. I think recently in the US, wearing natural hair has been legalized. It's
Mm,
not anymore, people cannot discriminate on that. And that 20 years ago, it was not possible. So for me to be able to do that, but also for people to feel like they can bring the come as you are, right?
mm,
Like the Nirvana song, come as you
yeah.
are to the workplace, and that people embrace you. That's my ideal workplace.
Yeah. Do you think that that's achievable in our lifetime to see that across the board, or do you feel like this is sort of going to be something we're going to be working on throughout time?
It's a marathon, and also know that you can never satisfy everybody, right?
Right.
There are always people that feel like, okay, I'm not being represented. But as long as we do it for the majority, as long as the majority is happy and satisfied, then we are already doing a lot. Now people are leaving the workplace. There is this great resignation, the great reshuffle is happening based upon people now seeing the value of belonging, the value of inclusion, the value of having a voice and being seen, being basically seen as a culture add, not a culture
Mm.
fit.
I love that. Do you feel like there's a difference? And I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Is there
Hmm.
a difference between being inclusive within the workplace and hiring a good fit for what you're looking for your company? If that makes does that make sense? What I'm trying
Yeah,
to ask
it,
here, like, is there a
it's
difference?
there is definitely a difference because the last one is about hiring a culture fit where you're basically
Mm,
copying the paperclip company, and the
mm,
paperclip company only exists about of the same paperclips. There are no differences, and people think alike. And in
mhm.
this day, in this new age where things are going fast and you need to be creative, innovative, and also be top of mind, you cannot think of the paperclip way anymore. I mean, I don't know if you have seen it, but the whole new Disney film that came out, right? I don't know if that way of thinking, culture fit, would have been a new, would have brought us the same similar Disney film that came out, Turning Red. I don't
Mm.
think that Turning Red would have been possible if we would have done the culture fit thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what was it as you're talking about Disney movies? So I feel like almost sometimes it's like there's a difference for me between being inclusive and but also being authentic at the same
Mm,
time.
yeah,
You remember when the Disney, I don't know if you've seen it, the version of Cinderella where Brandy played Cinderella. Did you ever see that?
I saw that, but that's a long time ago. I really have to dig in my memory, but yeah.
It was in I'm always anytime we're talking about things like this, and being inclusive and all of that, I always think of that movie because they were trying so hard to make it include everybody to the point
Hmm.
of where, you had Brandy as Cinderella, you had Whitney Houston
Yeah.
as the fairy godmother, but then
Hmm.
the queen was black, the
Hmm.
king was white, the prince
Yeah.
was Asian, and I'm sitting
Yeah.
here trying to do the math in my head, like, what is happening here? It was like trying so hard to include
Hmm.
everybody in that. It was one of my favorite versions
Yeah.
of Cinderella, by the way. But it's one of those things that makes you look at it and go, what is it that I'm watching here?
True.
It was very different for that time to come
Yes,
out with something like that.
especially at that time, but also realize that so many kids from those different ethnicities were able to see themselves represented, were able to see that they matter because somebody that looks like them, similar color or similar background, is being portrayed on television saying that a black girl could be a princess
Right.
or seeing themselves in a different light. And when, well, I'm gonna say my age anyway because I'm 41, and when I grew up, we only had the Cosby Show and the Oprah. There
Mm-hmm.
weren't that many representations. So in the beginning, I thought I had to be lighter, be
Mm-hmm.
whiter, have my hair straight. Why? Because people that look like me were being portrayed in a certain way. And now I live for this era. I live for this era where there are books, different ethnicities, different backgrounds. There are so many movies out there. We have Netflix, we have so many other streaming services that show the diversity, that showcase the true, authentic diversity, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that authenticity is really
Yeah.
important as well. And I'm not a huge fan of trying to do something because it's the cool thing to do in the
Yeah.
moment, or
Yeah.
casting because we need someone that looks like, because to me that's defeating the purpose. Like, it's like we need to just allow it to happen naturally, and I
Hmm.
suppose that's gonna that's gonna take time.
Inclusion is about how these different ingredients are going to match together, and when you're not setting the right tone for the oven or you're not co-creating the right temperature for the
Mm,
oven, then whatever dish you put in the oven, it's deemed to fail. It's otherwise going to burn,
right.
or it's otherwise going to not even taste like something that's edible.
Very true. I burned something just
Yeah.
the other day. It's true. It's
Who
true.
did you not include?
I did not include a timer, and then I got busy
Mm,
with children, and
yeah.
how that happened. What exactly does a workplace wellness advocate do? Because
Hmm.
I consider myself to be a wellness advocate in terms of individual wellness, like our
Hmm.
own, holistic thinking. But what does a workplace wellness advocate do?
Well, that part is about workplace wellness. I see that as a five pillar where we look into the physical well being, the mental well being, the financial well being, the social well being, and I seem to be forgetting one, social well being, financial, career well being. That's a
Mm,
very important one. When we don't support the people or support the employees regarding that, when they don't feel like they belong, one of these five pillars will fall. And I mean, a house with four pillars, it's okay. Having a house maybe on three pillars, it's going to be shaky, and it's also going to be shown in their productivity. It's also going to be shown in the way they work and the way they show up. And every time that an employee diminish themselves, what does that mean? What does that mean for your organization, right? What does that mean for your team? And that's not what you want. And that's why I'm focusing on that, plus combining that with the elements of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So when I'm being hired for the well-being part, I make sure that I also add something of DEI in it. And then when I'm being hired for the DEI part, I make sure that I add a few elements of the well-being part as well, because they both go together.
It seems like a very holistic, like you need to
Hmm.
look at the full picture.
True,
So it
true,
makes sense to have a
true.
workplace wellness advocate because we think of it in the same way as personal wellness as well. The Your breakthrough moment of the maternal wall bias and the things that you experience when you're pregnant, is that something that you see often in the work that you do now, or what
It's
how
still there. It's still
Mm,
there. Imagine that as a new parent, you don't have any feeding stations at the workplace or any stations where you can pump your breast milk, right?
mm,
And imagine you eating your four-course meal in the restroom.
yeah.
Imagine you eating your four-course meal in a storage room, which isn't always decent.
Mm,
These are the little things, but when you think about yourself eating your amazing dish, your four-star dish in a nasty room, how would you think that that will, transfer to a baby? That means the baby gets sick more often. The parent is also worried about the baby, and it also causes us to not be there, to be present. But
mm,
what if your employer has a mobile room where you can, pump the breast milk or partner with another company that has those facility? I'm not saying that you have to spend millions, but there are practical ways to create a room, a designated room, so that they can relax and not feel stressy. And also, partnering with another company that has those facilities can also show that you care. I
mm.
want to see more companies show that they care, not say that they care. Show me the
Yes.
money.
Yes. Show me the money.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's true because I mean, this seems so obvious to me. And maybe
Hmm.
it's because I am a mom because I have
Yeah.
experienced those things before. But it seems to me like this should be a no-brainer that making our parents more comfortable at the workplace is going to ultimately benefit the workplace because the
Yeah.
families are going to be healthier, and it's that cycle, that circle that affects
Hmm.
everything. What do
Yeah.
you think it is that holds these companies back, though, from seeing like we need to make these changes?
Not all companies are aware. So I
Mm,
say that it can sometimes be their hidden, I wouldn't say hidden biases, but hidden things that they don't know about the workplace. They don't realize until they become a parent themselves and realize, oh, I did not know that this isn't here. And we also need to be able to listen to our people, right? What can we improve? How can we improve that together and collaborate in ways, and think also strategically about the budgets that you are creating. Are people using that budget? And if not, are you advertising for the benefits of the company? What is lacking and where is the leaky pipeline, so that you can learn how to do better next time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my husband just recently left the line of work that he was in and has a
Mm-hmm.
completely different career now. And
Mm-hmm.
the work he was in before was just so toxic. Like just
Yeah.
I cannot explain enough how toxic it is. And then how much that weighed on us as individuals
Mm-hmm.
within our household
Yeah.
and our family unit.
Yeah.
And
Bring it
now
with you. Yeah.
yeah. And now the
Yeah.
new company that he's with, they have incredible benefits. They are
Mm.
very family oriented. It's just a different whole, we're like, I don't know what to do with myself now because we've been so used to like swimming upstream and feeling
Yeah.
like we have to fight for,
Yeah.
do we want the work benefits or do we want family? We could never have both
Yeah.
ever this entire time we've been married. And now we have it and we're like, oh, I don't know what to, what do we do with this?
And this is also the reason why a lot of people are leaving their workplace,
Mm,
because now they can see that they can work remotely. And unfortunately, there are some companies that say, "Welcome back to the office." Like all this time that I was working from home, haven't I been doing something? Haven't
yeah.
I been working, right? So
Yeah.
flexibility, if you're
Mhm.
not offering that, well, I wonder how long you will exist.
Yeah, I think we learned the last couple of years, we need to be flexible
Yeah.
on things
Yeah.
because things don't always go how we think they're gonna go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you have kids, because I know that a few years ago we were laughing about the BBC guy with his, people thought it was his nanny, but it
Yep.
was his wife, right? With the kids coming in like they
Mhm.
are, in a new movie. And now we are all doing that dance. When your kid comes in or my kid comes in, well, let's join the party
Yeah.
because this is our life.
Yeah, it is. And I think it really opened a lot of people's eyes, I think the last
Hmm.
couple of years to the multitasking that,
Yeah.
that we do
Hmm.
so often. And that we are resilient
Yeah.
ultimately, because I remember thinking we're going to have a nostalgic moment here. For those of you that have been watching the show since season one, I don't know if you remember this fateful moment, but I mentioned to Vivian before we recorded today that the show used to be live. You guys remember that right at the beginning? Um, and my daughter, who thinks she lives in a nudist colony, decided in the middle of a live show to just literally run right in front of stark naked. And thank God. I mean, you couldn't see anything. It was very fast. It was just one of those moments. But I remember feeling I was tested in my hosting abilities in those moments because I'm sitting here like, what just happened? Like, where am I right now?
So that's why you started adding a 10-second pause, just like all the broadcast media that are doing that.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say. It's fantastic though. But
Yeah.
like, so what if someone is at we don't always have the luxury, I feel like, to just be like, oh, my work treats me lousy, I'm just gonna leave. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go today. And so if someone is at a business and they're working for a company and they are not being treated very well and
Hmm.
they feel like they can't just up and leave right now, how do you suggest that they approach that with their employers, or should they at all?
Mm, don't approach that.
Mm,
What I do recommend is, in the past, I did a conversation with Kanika Tolver. She is an amazing writer, and the topic of her book is called Career Rehab, where she basically is asking you to date your job, to have a
mm,
speed date with different jobs, and confide in people that you can trust with that information, and also create that mood board. What do you want? Because
mm.
most of the time we know what we don't want, but
Yeah.
is that also the thing that we want to attract? Well, what if you affirm what you do want? Create a mood board or write something down. This is what I want in my next job, and create that top 10 list where at least the top three,
Mhm,
no concessions. This has to be in the company or else I'm not going to sign. And
mhm.
ask your valid questions. Ask the questions, because the jobs are out there, people. The jobs are out there. The only thing that you need to do is connect with people, find the right people, connect with the right recruiters, and have faith. in what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that part of like envisioning what you want. And I think, that's something that can sound very woo to people of going, oh, we're gonna do vision boards now. Like, what are we
Hmm.
gonna do? But it's so
Call them
important.
call them whatever you want.
Yeah.
I am a living proof of me leaving the workplace. I have to be honest. For the first few years, it was a challenge, but me manifesting where I want to be, where do I want to go, and it's part of my daily ritual where I try to manifest in 3 years' time. Where do I want to be? Where do I stand? And this an easy affirmation by Vishen Lakiami. It's also online, the 6 phase affirmation, 10 minutes. And when you listen to that, it will set the tone for your day. It will set your mood for the day.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I think having that routine is so important and helpful
Hmm.
for everybody. Um, what do you feel like are the most important things for us to work on right now? So if someone hires says, okay, I know I need to be more inclusive in my workplace. I know that this needs to happen.
Hmm.
How do you actually get in there and get your hands dirty and start working on all of that?
There isn't a one size
Mhm.
fits all answer, but what I normally do is what have they done before? Where do they want to start? We can start with online training, we can start with virtual training, we can start with do they have an ERG? Are they looking for a way to revamp their ERG? Don't If they don't have an ERG, let's create one now. And it's easier said than done, but people don't understand that there's so much power in activating an ERG, which creates a win-win-win situation, not only for the employee, for the company, but also individually for the client as well. And that part is not being utilized enough.
So for people that are watching that are
Hmm.
like she said ERG, like at least, and I have no idea what that is. Tell people what
Oh,
that is.
ERG are called employee resource groups. Sometimes they are called affinity groups.
Mm,
Sometimes they are called business resource groups. Or sometimes they don't even have a name. It's a collective people, like minded people that come together and that want to develop themselves professionally and personally, but also connect with like minded people.
mm,
Within an ERG, you can accelerate your career growth or accelerate that you want to become a speaker. Where can you become a next thought leader? And also it's the shortcut to connect with leaders. It's the
mm.
shortcut to connect with directors or with exco people. So
Yeah.
it's a good way for people to remember your name.
It sounds great, and I know you've just broken it down for everybody that were that some people were like, "Listen, I don't know what she's talking." It sounds great. I don't know what she's talking about, so it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. What's your big dream for you in your business? Looking as you look forward.
My big dream is, and I'm currently working on that, is developing bite-sized online content where things are being shared in their own space, right? So I can share a little bit right now. um, the world of DEI, it's like the Great Pacific Ocean, and not everybody is ready to be able to swim in the Great Pacific Ocean. Me neither sometimes. But for people to be able to embrace and amplify DEI, we need to invite them to the kiddie pool. That's the first starting point. That's where they can dip their toes and become comfortable with a topic, with intersectionality, with allyship, with deactivating microaggression, um, with so many other topics that are DEI related. And then I want you to start becoming an inclusive self leader. I want you to activate something. I want you to commit to one thing. Is it that you are going to be a sponsor or to be a mentor for somebody else that doesn't look like you or doesn't have the same privileges? And privileges, I mean superpower,
Mm,
because everybody has superpowers,
mm,
some people more than others. But I want you to use your superpower. Just like my superpower here is that I'm speaking up, for instance, to prevent upcoming parents to deal with the ish that have dealt with the maternal wall bias, but also as a Black woman, I want to prevent exclusion happening in the workplace. How can you utilize your superpower and use it for good?
Mm. Oh, I had to pause for a minute because it's so good, because so many of us are just sitting aside and waiting for somebody else to do it, somebody else to
Hmm.
speak up, somebody else to create the space. And I made it my point with this network to open the door to whoever had a story to tell. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter just the door is open for you to come and share your story. And I learned so much. I feel so selfish after every single recording I do, because I'm like, I take so much away. I don't care about all, I do care, but like I take so much from every single perspective that's shared on this show. And I think it's important for us to just listen, just
Mm,
listen to these other
yeah,
perspectives and hear it. Not everybody is like you. Not
yeah.
everybody has the same advantages. Not everybody grew up the same way.
Hmm.
It's so just listen. It's
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
huge thing.
Imagine a world where every child gets a great education. Educating all children is the only way to end poverty. This is what the Weiss Scholarship Foundation is working to accomplish. Our 6 staff members, our mentors and coordinators, who are on the ground in Kenya, are totally engaged in every aspect of our students' lives, so we can give them every opportunity for success. In just a few short years, we have already awarded 141 scholarships. We send children to high school who would have never gone without our support. And then we help them go on to either university or vocational school. We have already scaled our holistic business model to 4 locations and are ready to scale it to many more. Today it's Kenya, but tomorrow it's more countries. Please contribute what you can today. You can make a one-time donation, a recurring donation, or choose to sponsor a child all on your own for all 4 years of high school for just $3,500. Go to our website, www.weissscholarshipfoundation.org.
Well, I am excited to get into our 10 quick fire questions today, Miss Vivian. Are you ready?
Can I say no?
No, no, you cannot. You cannot say no.
Well, in that case, yes, I'm ready.
All right, you guys, let's do it. This is going to be fun. Here we go.
Ooh,
Number 1, what is your morning beverage of choice?
green tea,
Yes.
mason ball jar.
In a ball. See, it's so nice for me to hear that other people do the ball jars. It's not just the Southern United States that
No,
does.
no, 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 no. It's my first to go thing.
I love it. All right, number 2, when are you most productive?
In the morning. Yes.
Very good. We are the same. Number 3, which season is your favorite?
I would say spring.
Very nice. All right, number 4, what is something you're learning right now?
I'm learning to become a coach, which is a challenge because you're being confronted with your own things that you have to challenge. And it's good, but it's also a challenge. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Number 5, what were your best and worst subjects in school?
Best subjects: economics,
Hmm.
works, mathematics.
Very interesting. All right, number 6, what scares you?
What scares me the most is all the work that I've been doing, and my son still, when he becomes an adult, still dealing with the exclusion, or still the world is feeding itself on exclusion.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
Number 7, have you ever been in love?
definitely. I have to
Yes.
say that. I'm still in love with my partner.
Yes. All right, number 8, what inspires you?
My son.
Hmm.
He's my everything. He's the reason why I've risen like the phoenix, but also on a day-to-day basis, when the going gets tough, when look at his face or into his eyes, I know who I'm doing it for, and of course for his generation. But he's my fire.
So good. All the mamas
Mm.
of the world are crying now. I love it. All right, number 9, if you have any at all as a busy entrepreneur, how do you enjoy your downtime?
Oh, I love chilling and watching just Netflix or a good movie. And when we are outside, just walking and
Mm,
enjoying and soaking the sun.
I love it. I love it. And finally, which culture do you deeply respect and or want to learn more about other than your own?
Can I say all
Yeah,
cultures?
that's been a very popular answer this season.
No, because me as a DEI consultant, I cannot just pick one culture because that's not where I stand for. I stand for
Yeah.
inclusion, and that means that we have to learn more about other people, their cultures.
Mm. I love it. Well, you survived. You got all 10 questions.
Whew!
You did it beautifully. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed this segment on each episode this season because it just gives us a chance to just let our hair down for a minute, have a little
Mhm.
fun, but also I love to see, what people have in common no matter where they come from, no matter and the differences we have as well, which are also a lot of fun to
True.
look at. So I want everybody to visit vivalaviv.com and I would love for you to tell everybody what they can find there, Vivian.
Oh, well, they can see me.
There she is.
On my website, it's all about my mission is all about let's amplify DEI together, because it's not something that you can do, it's something that we need to do together. So I offer a few services. I have my summit about amplify DEI, but also what you'll see is the different topics, the different speaking engagements that I do to support your clients or support your employees to move the needle. And this is what you see is what you get. You get an inspiring speaker who knows her way out of different tools. Have a look at my LinkedIn where you can see the different recommendations that I have. I am not a boring speaker, not at all. Not at all. The way that I am here, that's what you get. And a little bit more pepper as well.
Yeah. I love that. I love it. And I listen, I learned about Vivian through one of our other good friends
Mm,
here on the Breakthrough Show, Scott Mason.
mhm.
And listen, a powerhouse attracts powerhouse.
Oh,
I knew immediately that you were going to be an incredible guest when Scott recommended you. So we thank
thank
Scott for our
you.
connection as well. I would love for everybody to go visit Vivian's website. Anything you want to leave our audience with today, Vivian?
I just want to challenge the audience about think about how you can make the world a little bit better. Think about the step that you can take to amplify diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm not asking you to bungee jump out of your comfort zone, but if you could just make one tango step or one salsa step towards moving the needle forwards, listen to podcasts, get to know your hidden biases or your unconscious biases. And when you know them, take action as well.
Mm. Take action. You heard it. Don't just sit there, people.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there and in your comfort zone of
Hmm.
loveliness. Get out, get up, take action. I love it. Vivian, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me. And know that when you are in the Netherlands or in Amsterdam, just know, hit me up.
I will. I will do that. Absolutely. All right, you guys. It's been another fantastic episode today. I want to thank Vivian for being here today. I want to thank all of you for watching or listening wherever you are in the world. And I want to remind you of a couple, two, three things. I want you to get plugged into our text community. If you are in the US, Canada, and Puerto Rico, just text the word breakthrough to 256-685-7092. And you can also, from anywhere in the world, join our Discord server to chat with other fans, meet past guests and hosts from the Breakthrough Show Network. Just go to bit.ly/Discord Breakthrough, bit.ly/Discord Breakthrough. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. It's been another fantastic episode today. And I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life and make every day a great day for a breakthrough. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.